Camo Dave says that most nomads seem to visit Texas, Arizona, and California, and that he doesn't get to see many videos of people who visit other places. Well, this is a video about my recent trip to the Pacific Northwest, at least to the Astoria, Oregon portion. I think Oregon is one of the best kept secrets for van dwellers, and it's not an easy place to visit because the parking restrictions are extreme. It's really hard to find a place to park and to boondock, but it can be done. So this video is about my recent trip to Astoria, Oregon. Now, one thing you sure don't want to miss is my creepers video, because close to Astoria, I really had some troubles at one of the campsites. So if you missed that video, be sure to go back and check for it. I'm sure you'll enjoy it, and really gives you some food for thought about what to do when you find creepy people in your campsite. Anyway, I had a wonderful time in Astoria, and these are some of the things that I did. Okay.
Finally, we made Astoria, Oregon, one of my favorite places to visit in all of the Pacific Northwest. The Coast Guard makes its home here, protecting us at the mouth of the Columbia River. But one of the reasons I come to Astoria is for the food. And when it comes to seafood, you can't do much better than Moe's. Now, Moe's has several stores in many cities, but the Astoria store is my favorite. Try the fish and chips. The fish tacos are to die for. The clam chowder is killer. And, of course, the chiopino is incredible. Astoria is a port city, so you find all of the things you find in other port cities, the good and the bad. The architecture is interesting, kind of like a fishing village, and there are a lot of tourist places to visit. The flowers, spectacular. You'll love Astoria, Oregon. This is the Astoria Megler Bridge, built to span the Columbia River, joining both the state of Washington and Oregon. There's a lot to do in Astoria, Oregon. The Maritime Museum is not to be missed. And of course, the Astoria Column is well worth seeing. Astoria is named after the Astor family. John Astor perished on the Titanic, but before that, he had his hand in a lot of things,
including the American Fur Trading Company, which established Fort Astoria on the south banks of the Columbia River as it met the Pacific Ocean. His grandson, Vince Astoria, had a column built in Astoria, Oregon, in memory of the company.
And then it fell into disrepair. The Astoria Column is located high above the town of Astoria,
with commanding views of the Astoria Megler Bridge crossing the Columbia River.
Realizing its historical and tourist value, the townspeople have renovated the column, and the park is a great place to visit. You can view both the column and the park for the dandy price of $5. It's a cheap price for a phenomenal view, and the money goes for a very good cause. So be sure to check out the Astoria Column next time you're there.
I left it to the younger people to make their way to the top of the column. Sometimes you just have to be content with being there and watching them. But it was a great time for all. Selena said the views were incredible.
The column was completed in 1926 by the Great Northern Railroad and Vincent Astor, great-grandson of John and Jacob Astor.
After visiting the column, we made our way over the Astoria Megler Bridge so that we could visit the little fishing town of Ilwaco. There were a few parks that we stopped along the way, and we just had a marvelous time. Of course, it was raining almost all day long, so there wasn't much you could do except a road trip. And road trips in Oregon and Washington are always worth my time. It always is productive and a lot of fun. On the way back, we stopped at a small fishing village, kind of famous for the local Indians, and I pretended to be a pioneer, searching the horizon for the new conquests. I kind of hammed it up and had a lot of fun with it, and my friends did too. When we go to Astoria, Oregon, we always stay at Fort Stevens, which is one of the forts near Astoria. It's hard to get into Fort Stevens, and they only had room for us for one night. So we took it and had a great time.
The showers at Fort Stevens are to die for. Really something.
Of course, no stay at Fort Stevens would be complete without checking out the wreck of the Peter Iredale. She went aground during a storm, and the surf pounded her to death. They salvaged most of the boat, but the basic bones still lie there under tons and tons of sand. It's a great place to visit. Be sure to check it out when you go. Another part of the fort to check out is the old bunker complex. Few people know that the U.S. was shelled here during the World War II. And of course, if you can, it's rare even to get inside, but if you can, be sure to check out the old blockhouse. You'll get to see how prisoners lived way back in the day. It wasn't a very nice experience. They were kept in the bowels of the blockhouse in sweltering heat. Used to be, the only ones who would see these tourist sites were wealthy people in RVs. That's not necessarily the case anymore. With the explosion of van dwellers, we've all become tourists. We're all a source of revenue. We're supporting the people of the Pacific Northwest with our money and with our visitation. So next time you think about where van people should park, remember us, because we're here. We're in your restaurants. We're buying your t-shirts. We're in your grocery stores. We're at your mechanic shops. We're spending our money. And if you have the chance to visit the Pacific Northwest and you're a van dweller, boy, I encourage you to make the trip. For me, it's been well worth it. Well, this is Tim Painter for The Van Life, wishing you all a wonderful day. Thank you for tuning into my channel. If you like what you see, please press like. And of course, leave your comments. I'd love to hear what you think. Where did you stay when you were in the Astoria area? What is your favorite restaurant? What is your favorite tourist attraction? I'd love to hear your stories because all of you have so much experience to share. Okay, well, we'll see you soon. This is Tim Painter, signing out.